Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amanda Carlson, and I'm the Marketing Coordinator here at Advisicon, and I'd like to welcome you all to today's webinar. Here at Advisicon, we're a group of authors, teachers, consultants, and technologists offering training for the Microsoft technologies such as Project, Office 365, Power BI, Visio, and SharePoint, as well as project management and methodology. With attending any of our training sessions, we offer PDUs as we are a registered education provider with the Project Management Institute. At the close of today's session, I will give some instructions on how you can claim your PDUs and how to contact Advisicon with any questions you may have. Now, before we get started, I'd like to go over a few things so you know how to participate in today's event. If you'd review the control panel that should be on the top right of your screen, the audience is muted during this session, so in order to ask questions, you will need to submit them in the questions window of the control panel. This webinar will be recorded and uploaded on the Advisicon YouTube channel for those who could not attend today's session live. Please note that any questions or comments submitted will not display in the recording, nor will any of your personal information be shared. And it's now my pleasure to introduce today's instructor, Michael Rimmer, Advisicon's project advisor. So without further ado, I will hand this presentation over and we can get started.
Thank you very much, Amanda. My name is Michael Rimmer. Nice to meet you. I'm a project advisor here at Advisicon. I've been working with Microsoft products for over 10 years. I'm an experienced trainer, a Microsoft certified professional, and it's really my passion to work with technology and coach people. I'm very excited to get into today's webinar discussing Microsoft Teams, and I'm just going to get right into it. So today's webinar, I'm going to talk about what is Microsoft Teams and why we should use it. After that, I will get into a demo of actually showing you how Microsoft Teams functions with Agile project management and how you can use it for that. And then I'm going to talk about where Microsoft is going with Teams and what the next steps are. And if there's any time at the end, we'll answer any questions that have been asked. Or if there is no time at the end, we'll go ahead and email you the answers to any questions that you may have. All right, so what is Microsoft Teams? Microsoft Teams is essentially a collaboration tool built on Office 365 groups. When you create a new team through the application of Microsoft Teams, you're creating a Office 365 group, a SharePoint online site and document library to store team files. You're creating an Exchange online shared mailbox and calendar, and a OneNote notebook. Now, this application was designed to be a replacement of Skype for Business. If you haven't heard, Skype for Business will be not supported in the next couple of years, and Microsoft Teams will be the source of communication and chat instead of Skype for Business. Microsoft Teams is more than just a chat, audio and video chat software. It contains the ability to introduce apps, bots, and connectors for pulling information from your favorite sources. But overall, it's a central hub for ad hoc teamwork within your organization. So why would you use Microsoft Teams? Well, I really think that what it is really determines why you would use it. I mean, being that central hub for team communication is incredibly important. I mean, you're able to organize and conduct team meetings through audio and video the way that you would with Skype for Business, but it allows you to collaborate and work together on files within a particular team, all in one application. And like I said previously, you are able to use apps and other connectors, for example, like SurveyMonkey or YouTube or Yammer or Planner, all within this one application. It is that easy to use central hub. So now on to my favorite part, which is the demo of Microsoft Teams. There's a lot here, so I'm going to kind of go over it fairly quickly. But this is Microsoft Teams. It is the application. It's kind of large, but it has a lot to it, which gives it a great feel. As you can see, this is my landing page, which the navigation bar here on the left-hand side tells me what I can do within it. This, where I'm at right now, is called the activity, which gives me access to my feed of what's kind of been happening lately. I have the ability to change it to my current activity, which I replied to a message here. If I go back to my feed, you can see that if I click on Sam, it opens up my conversation with him. He had liked a message that I had previously. Now, just like just like Skype for Business, I have my profile up here, which I can change my picture, set my status, set a message, update my settings, and all of that information and sign out. But really, where this comes into play is through call and video chat, sharing your screen or adding people to conversations, but I'll get into that in just a minute. So if I navigate down to the chat button over here, you can see that I have one unread message. Richard has wished me good luck today, which I have not read for this particular webinar Wednesday. I have recent conversations, and I have my current contacts listed right here. I have all of my recent conversations down here and ones that I have pinned up here because these are the people that I talk to most often, and I just want to have really quick access to their conversation. As you can see, I have a services stand-up meeting. We have every week, twice a week, and I just like to be able to join it quickly from that conversation or just from accessing it right there, and also be able to chat when necessary. So I want to take a look at the contacts portion, which you can create new contact groups. So we currently have our LATAM, which is our Latin America conversation group where Walter is from. We have our United States contact group, and then I have a group that I have created for me personally, and Brian's within my other contacts. If I want to, I can easily add a contact to my favorites group by going in here. Let's add Sarah Davis. Adding a contact to a group is just that easy. Now let's go ahead and chat with her. When you open up a chat with somebody, you have 4 tabs that will populate. The first one being conversation. You can see the history of the conversation. This is very simple and normal stuff. You type in your message down here. You can edit your fonts. You can make a message very important. This will highlight on their Teams channel, on their Teams application, that a message is important, that they need to look at it right away. As you can see, it highlights it right here. You can attach files. They have emojis, GIFs, stickers, meetings, Evernote, and then other applications that you can add here that I will talk about at a later time. Within each conversation, you have the ability to share files and see the files that you have shared with them. I have shared with her an Excel workbook that I sent her over about an hour ago. You can see the organization structure for each individual person, and this is through your Office or Microsoft organization Active Directory. So let's go ahead and click on Travis Steele. And if I click on organization, you can see that him, Sam, and Brian all report to Jeff, who's the Director of Technical Services, who then ultimately reports to Tim. You can also see the activity that you and this individual have had in common. So Travis has posted 3 times on February 25th, which we see over here, in the headquarters and Teams information channel. If I go ahead and click on Get Started with Microsoft Teams, I will see the conversation that he has posted within this particular team. Now, as you can see, it took me from this chat section down to the Teams channel. So if I click back, I can click back to Teams. This is just part of the navigation. You can see that I have all of our teams that I am a part of here. For this particular webinar, I'm going to be going into the Webinar Wednesday, Teams for Agile Project Management, and this is the one that I have created for today's webinar. It's very easy to create a team. To create one, you would just click down here, and you can click Create a Team. It'll ask you for the information, Agile Project Management, Teams, create your description, say if you want to create this team using the existing team as a template, or if you already have an Office 365 group created, you can use that as a template as well. Make it private or public, click Next. It's going to ask you to add members if you want to. I'm going to skip that for now, but By doing that, it automatically created or used an Office 365 group, a SharePoint online site and document library, the Exchange online shared mailbox and calendar, and a OneNote notebook. And it's right down here now. Every team that you create is going to have a general channel automatically created. Now I'm going to go to the Webinar Wednesday general channel, and this shows you the history of that team's information. So from here, I can see that I created this and I added Richard to the team. I then added Amanda and Leslie. We had a conversation, which Rich replied to. I had a new conversation, and all of this history down here. You can see that I added the Flow app to it, which will help my team to work on Flow very easily, just directly from this channel if I wanted to. And then I created a new channel, and that's what I'm going to be operating out of today. Every channel will have three main tabs, which are these three tabs up here on the top. We have our conversations, our shared files, or SharePoint document library, and then a wiki. This is all populated straight out of the box. Yesterday, I added a connector called Yammer, or for Yammer, and we have a inter-office Yammer group that is for our favorite recipes. And the connector, which I'll talk a little bit about later, this particular one, anytime somebody posts their favorite recipe in the Yammer group, it's going to populate on my channel. As you can see, I created a meeting, and then I canceled that meeting, and that populated in here as well. I want to show you how, if you mention somebody, if I mention Richard, it's going to populate to him very similarly to that you saw as that important message. And then he can reply to this channel. And it's very much like that. Every time you start a new conversation, it's going to start a whole new group of conversations, which then you can reply to. It's very easy to just start a new conversation when you're trying to reply to somebody, because that is not something that Skype had previously. If you just typed within a group or a meeting or something like that, you would just have one conversational box. But this has multiple in which you can reply to. So moving on to files, this is your document library. I have added two files in here, that one named important, one not so important. And you have the ability to create new files or folders directly from your document library within Teams. You have the ability to upload anything from your desktop. You can get a link to this particular library, either a link directly to Microsoft Teams document library or to the SharePoint site behind it. And then you can add a cloud storage. This is one of my favorite parts of having the Teams document library in here. We use Teams for our professional services division, and we use Project Online for all of our clients and all of our projects. And so the way that we integrate our file storage within Teams and our Project Online project sites is by adding that cloud storage. So within a team, I click this Add Cloud Storage box, and I can add, we use SharePoint, but you can add SharePoint, Google Drive, Dropbox. And I add this, I use a SharePoint link that I would have gotten from our SharePoint site or our project site for this particular project. I add it in there and I click Next, and then I would get a OneDrive folder right in here. And then I can click on that and access all of our project sites within there. And that's incredibly helpful for us to organize all of our files within one project site for that project, but keep it within Teams where we can still collaborate together. I can also open this document library in SharePoint by clicking on it, and it opened it in my other account. So let me go ahead and pull this up. And here it is, normal SharePoint site where you can, create new documents, upload, copy a link. You can sync it to your Windows Explorer, create flows, do all of that fun stuff. You can see that this is my Webinar Wednesday group with 6 members currently in here. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this and kind of show you what it looks like to co-collaborate on a document. So if I click Open Important Document, it opens it up within Teams. It didn't open it up in Word Online. However, I do have that ability to do so. And There we go, open it up in Word Online, but it's still within Microsoft Teams, which is fantastic for being able to make edits very quickly and very easily. I can go ahead and close this and open up my other one, but let's say I don't want to open it up in Word Online. I can just open it up straight in Word. I can always download it, get a link, or if I wanted to, let's go ahead and make the important document a tab. And I'm going to talk about tabs in just a little bit, but that moved my important document up to the navigation tabs up here. Let's go back to the wiki real quick before I continue on. And this is just your standard Microsoft wiki, which you can upload. You can even remove it if you deemed it not important. So just click on remove and it's gone. And it's very easy to remove or add tabs for your particular team. All right, so we have conversation files and add a tab. This is kind of where your Agile project management really comes into play. So you have your teams and your different channels where you can converse with each other to talk about your project that's at hand. But if you wanted to, you can add quick to access apps that will assist you in your team management or your project management. You can add bots, which will either pull information that you ask of it just any way that a normal bot would. You can create connectors, which will automatically pull information as information becomes available, just like I explained earlier with that Yammer and that favorite recipes connector. But one of the things I want to show you is that really flows well with Microsoft Teams is Planner. Planner was designed as a Kanban or a task board ad hoc project management tool for Microsoft, and you have the ability to create a new Microsoft plan or planner board directly in Teams. So if I create a new plan here called leveraging Microsoft Teams for Agile project management, that's a mouthful. I can create a new plan that way. I can always use an existing plan, one that I have already created. But I'm gonna go ahead and create a new plan. And then I'm gonna post to the channel about this tab so that way everybody knows within our team that this has been created and they now have access to it. As you can see, it's added this tab up here, and I have access to my planner board. If I will now have access to this planner board if I was to access the planner portal through tasks.office.com or going to portal.office.com and accessing the planner tab. But I really like the ability to just go to my team, go to the Teams for Agile Project Management channel, and click on my planner board right here. And I can see what tasks are assigned to me, see what tasks are new. I can easily create new tasks and assign other people. You have your same functionality as Planner through the charts, through your schedule view. And it's just a wonderful way to integrate Planner into Teams. So this is like the main bread and butter of Microsoft Teams, is the ability to create new teams, create channels within those teams, converse with each other, set up meetings and conversations with individuals about particular teams. And I want to talk a little bit about that one, meetings. So the next step down in the navigation bar here on the left-hand side is the Meetings tab. And this syncs up with your Office 365 account. This is essentially my Outlook calendar. As you can see, we have GoToWebinar today. I can easily schedule new meetings or view what I have on my agenda today. I can see what I have scheduled for tomorrow, for Friday. It goes as far forward and as far back as I need it to. I can click on this little icon here to change it to agenda view, which will show me all of today's events, tomorrow, and up to a week from now, so Sunday, 5 days, to see what's going to happen in my week. If I wanted to schedule a meeting, I could easily do that by clicking on the Schedule a Meeting button, which is just very easy and simple to do. Click, let's make a Lessons Learned meeting, and we'll have the channel meet in my webinar Wednesday to talk about how well I did during this webinar. I'm going to invite my direct supervisor, Richard, and we'll have this go from 12:30 to 1. Now I see that he's not free. See, he's currently busy at this time. So if I click on the scheduling assistant, I can see, oh, well, I'm busy because I have an all-day activity today, and he's busy at 1, but he's free at 1:30, as we can see right here. So then I'm going to go back and click schedule. He'll receive an Outlook notification that says, hey, you've been scheduled for this meeting, and you can see that it populates in our current channel. Anybody within this channel would be able to see this as well. You can see the meeting details by clicking on the ellipsis. So that's the second real bread and butter of the Outlook or of the Office 365 group collaboration, meetings, and teams. The next section down here is files. So the recent is obviously all the files that I have accessed recently, and it goes down, you can scroll down all the way down to as much as you need to. The Microsoft Teams view, though, shows all of the files that have been shared with all of the teams that you have access to. And then the downloads is anything that you have downloaded from Microsoft Teams. And you can open up your downloads folder. I have just recently received a new computer, so I haven't downloaded anything on this one yet. But the downloads folder is your typical My Documents downloads from your Windows Explorer folder. You also have the ability to access your OneDrive directly from here, and you can add a new cloud storage if you wanted to. And as you can see down here, we have more abilities that Microsoft Teams has. So you can click down on this ellipses, and there are a bunch of different options to choose from. You can even go to the store and access more apps of which you would be able to access directly through Microsoft Teams. It really gives you that functionality of being able to use as much as possible to get your projects done. We're running just a little bit low on time, so I want to continue. But one of the things I want to show you is Planner. I mean, the ultimate ad hoc project management tool. Instead of going to tasks.office.com and seeing your planner board up here, you can easily access My Tasks straight from Teams. You can see these are my tasks, the same exact view from that you would see if you went on the online portal. Not started, in progress, completed, and you can always group it by different ways that you wanted to. You can see the recent tasks that you, or recent plans that you have been working within. You can see all of the tasks that, or all of the plans that you have been working on. You can see, get help by how to use Planner within Microsoft Teams. You can see what it's all about. So I'm going to go back to there's a lot to cover here, and there really is a lot more than what a 30-minute webinar can reveal to you, and I hope that you're able to play with it yourself a little bit. Let me go back to our slide here and go to the next page to talk about where Microsoft is going with Teams. And that is what the first thing is. They're phasing out Skype for Business. I mean, there's no stopping it. They are going to stop having organizations use Skype and continue the full transition into Teams eventually. So I would say get started now. The second thing that Microsoft is going with is Shifts. Shifts is a new app that if you use the developer preview function, you will be able to use it. It's a scheduling software, scheduling service within Microsoft Teams. Actually, let me just show you real quick. So I do have the developer preview on. And if I click on here on Shifts, you can see that I have created a shift schedule for a church. We work with a lot of nonprofits that are here locally, and messing around with this particular scheduling tool, I have created a schedule for a fake church. So let's say that they had to schedule different rooms for Sunday morning from 10 a.m. to 11:45. You have room 1, nursery, room 2 for children ages 2 through 5, room 3 for children in the 2nd grade. And you can see that they're open shifts and nobody has claimed these. You can add groups as needed, you can add people as needed, and you can share the schedule with the team. The really cool part about this, though, is like the ability to request. You can add request time off, you can swap your shifts with other people, and you can offer your shift if you don't want to work what the shift manager has scheduled for you. There's a lot of cool stuff that's coming with Teams, and that's just one really neat, close to release functionality. Another thing that Microsoft is really close to releasing is the ability for private channels. Currently, if your team or you have a member within your team, they will be able to see every channel within that team. You can make teams private by not inviting people, but once that person has been invited, they will see every channel. They are currently in process of hiding channels from team members. And for whatever reason that may be, that could be a functionality that your organization may want. And then the last couple of things I want to talk about is a calendar tab. On this left-hand side of the left-hand navigation bar, they're going to be releasing a calendar tab that will show you the shared calendar of all of your meetings. So currently I showed you the meetings tab, which you can see today, you can see tomorrow, but you can't see today and tomorrow. You can only see the agenda view. They're working on releasing a whole calendar month tab that you'll be able to see. And then the multi-window functionality. The number one ask right now from end users is the ability to pop out a chat window, just like Skype for Business does, and be able to have a conversation with somebody while collaborating on a document in Microsoft Teams in a separate window. This is like something that I really can't wait for them to release, and they are working on it currently. And it's the number one ask right now for Microsoft Teams, and they are working hard on it. So that's kind of where Microsoft is going with Teams, and I'm going to hand it off over to Amanda for any possible questions that might have arisen.
Great. Well, it looks like we're coming near the end of our time, so I think we'll only have time for one. So we'll take one that says, if I have a recommendation to change teams or add a feature, how would I do that?
Oh, that's a great question. So, like I said, the multi-window chat functionality is something that people have requested over and over, and they've done that through using the website Microsoft User Voice, which is, let me pull it up right here for you. Microsoft has what's called a user voice, or the ability for people to give their feedback on how they can make their products better. So they have this for Microsoft Project, they have this for Teams, they have this for Planner, they have this for Word. You have the ability to come to this microsoftteams.uservoice.com and submit or vote on different possible ideas that you may have. And that's how you would do that.
Excellent. Thank you, Michael. And thank you, everyone, for attending today's webinar. We welcome your questions and feedback. And for more information, you can email us at contact@advisicon.com. Once you exit today's webinar, you will receive a survey on the presentation. You will need to complete and submit this survey in order to receive your PDUs. From there, you will receive a follow-up email within 2 business days with your PDU information. If you're watching this recording on YouTube or another social media platform, please be sure to like and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any future uploads. And on behalf of Advisicon, Michael, and myself, we thank you for joining us today, and we hope to see you participate in our future webinars. Have a great day, everyone.